Hey guys, Arav here. My final video without the intro is this one. And today we are going to be reviewing the Thomas and Friends Sharon Miller era review. The Thomas and Friends Sharon Miller era. So let's get into this. So my favorite my favorite episode, lol, from season 13, which is the first era of the Sharon Miller era, is Steamy Sodor. Although season 13 sucked, I still thought this was one of the few goods from the season. It's pretty enjoyable, and it's really ultimately a episode that people would enjoy because it has humor, and it's not like all of the season 13 episodes, which are just crap. My second favorite episode from this season is Snow Tracks. It's really funny. Like, Gordon's like, okay, I'm big and strong, and then he's basically just like an overconfident engine, and he's so, I guess you could say, rude, and he's like, yeah, I'm not afraid, you little idiot, this, that. It's a really funny episode. That's what I like about Snow Tracks. My least favorite episode from this season is Slippy Sodor. It is so annoying. I mean, seriously. It's so annoying. With Thomas being an idiot and all that. I mean, that's supposed to be the main reason why the Miller era is so terrible. The awful rhymes and alliteration. And yeah, it's just so annoying. I hate this episode. And you know how it works. Slippy Sodor is so annoying. The cast is so jerky. And I just hate this episode. Oh my god. I hate it. Okay, so guys, I am really sorry that I'm not in full screen mode. But the thing is, my iPad just is refusing to cooperate with me on full screen mode. My favorite episode, season 14, was the best of the Miller era. My favorite episode from this season has to be Jitters and James. It's a funny episode. It has humor. It goes farther than just a regular old go anywhere awful rhyme and alliteration thing. It's just pretty funny, to say the least. That's what I gotta say about this episode. My second favorite episode from the season is Jumping Joby Wood. It's really funny, to say the least. What's so funny about it is that it's has the humor that an episode in Thomas can have, especially one from the Miller era. While it is quite funny, it has lots of humor in it. And that's what makes it a really good episode. And best of all, Fat Hat punishes the logging locals. It's just so satisfying. And a great episode. Go. My least favorite episode from the season is Thomas's Tall Friend. It's terrible. I mean, what is this episode really? I know what it is. It's just something terrible. Thomas is so idiotic, and yeah, this is supposed to be the major highlight of the Miller era. Idiotic characters. I just hate this episode so much. I mean, come on. What is this episode? Huh? Only positive is that the giraffe is cute, but still terrible. So in conclusion, I didn't like season 14 that much. It was the best of the Miller era, but not really good. I give it a 0 out of 10. I mean, not a 0, but I'd give it I guess you can say 45 out of 100 stars. So, let's talk season 15. This was terrible, and I hated it. It truly showed a downfall of Thomas. I mean, I hated it. It's just terrible. My favorite episode from this season, and this is going to seem attacking, so don't attack me. It's my favorite and least favorite. So, my favorite and least favorite episode from this season is Wonky Whistle. Wonky Whistle is the worst episode from this season, but it's also laughably bad. The positives of Wonky Whistle. It has some funny humor in it, and the negatives of it has funny humor, and this whole country show idea is not a bad idea. The negatives. Thomas's Wonky Whistle is annoying. I mean, Thomas literally drives off when there's a workman on his cab. And then the awful rhymes and alliteration are a waste of my time. I hate this episode. I mean, seriously. I hate it and I like it. I'm also going to pick I'm not going to pick a second favorite episode from this season, but I will pick a second least favorite episode from this season. Just because I chose Wonky Whistle as my favorite and least favorite, I'm just going to go ahead and choose a second least favorite. Okay, guys, so Wonky Whistle is a terrible episode, but the other terrible episode that most of every Thomas fan simply loathes is Up, Up, and Away. I mean, oh my God, holy shit, you'd expect Mr. Bubbles to be dead by the end of this episode. I mean, come on, what is this? Mr. Bubbles should be dead by the end of this episode. Like, he's literally blowing up, I don't know how many balloons. But you expect him to be dead by the end of this episode. I mean, his cheeks were puffing brown. I mean, take a look at him. Look. I mean, shouldn't Mr. Bubbles be dead? Yeah, Mr. Bubbles should be dead. I mean, just look at him. Hold on. Look, he should be dead. Seriously. And the other thing is that Thomas and Percy are so idiotic. I mean, a lot of episodes have two flawed protagonists, a la Henry's Hero, but they're good. They don't have these idiotic stuff in them. I hate this episode. We need better episodes. So, I hated season 15. It was a terrible season. I mean, it just wasn't suitable for Thomas. I miss those olden days of Thomas. Hopefully it can get better next time. Let's talk about season 16. So with the narrow gauge engine's return, this did improve over season 15. But the narrow gauge engine's return didn't help that much with this season. I just hated it. This was the last terrible season of Thomas until obviously now when we're coming to season 25. This was the last terrible season of Thomas. And now we're coming here to season 25, which I think is season 16. This was a step up from season 15 because of the narrow gauge engine's return. This helped it a little bit become a better season, but not by much. My favorite episode from this season has to be Happy Birthday, Sir. While it does give a good backstory on Sir Topham Hatt, it also does this birthday carriage thing, and I like the classical days. It reminds me of the classical railway series days, because it's referring back to events like back when classic Thomas. It's referring to classic Thomas events, even before classic Thomas, even before railway series. That's what I like so much about this episode. Also, just a question. How many years old is this? I mean, Sir Topham Hatt is probably in his 50s. And so long ago, this was probably 30 years ago. So 30 years ago this probably was. Okay, so my second favorite episode from this season is Salty Surprise. Because Salty it involves Salty, and I really like this episode for what it is and how it utilizes basically giving Salty a gift. And I really like it, and at the end it turns out that Salty's gift is a story that Edward puts together. I really like it. My least favorite episode from this season, you guessed it, is the Christmas Tree Express. I'll tell you why. It's so wasted and terrible. I mean, come on. It has such a waste with its stupidity and wimpy Toby and stuff like that. I mean, I hate it. This is not a good fit of an episode. It's terrible. I hate it.